We are talking about summer resources. So over the next couple of weeks, I want to just give you a couple of sort of digital tools for making your summer fun and safe and enjoyable. There's a lot of sort of free or low cost resources in the city that I just want to make sure you have some connection to. So today we're going to talk about some digital resources to plan for a safe, fun, and healthy summer. So the two that I have for you today are the NYC Parks events calendar, which has sort of an ongoing list of events in parks, almost all of which are free. And I'll show you how to look up events in that calendar, how to filter it so you can see events that are near you or events that are related to things you're interested in. And then we're going to look at the NYC Ferry app, which is where you can buy tickets for the ferry ahead of time. We actually have a ferry stop relatively close to us in East Harlem, so we'll talk about that a little bit. And then, I'll be sharing more resources in the next couple of weeks that are sort of summer adjacent. So let's start with the NYC Parks events calendar. NYC Parks keeps this continuous calendar of events in parks across the 5 boroughs. And it includes everything from fitness programs to entertainment events and special celebrations. To go to, this is not actually an app, it's just a website. So you want to go to nycgovparks.org/event. And what you should see looks like this calendar on the right here. All right, so I just zoomed in on some of these events so you can see what these listings look like. So you see here, we have Summer on the Hudson, a monuments tour of Riverside Park near Grant's Tomb. You'll see a short description, the time, the date, what categories these fall on. This particular event falls under, so it's education, history, tours. So if you search by one of those categories, this particular event would come up. And it does show you that it's free. And then overlook concerts at Riverside Park. So these are just sort of a sample of what you might see if you search here. And this is just all events upcoming right now. So you'll see too, they're focused on Manhattan right now. But this, if you don't put any particular filter on it, will actually bring up things that are across the 5 boroughs. All right, so I want to show you how to filter these if you're looking for a particular type of event or something that's close to you, something that's in East Harlem or Manhattan. So you can filter your search to certain parks, dates, particular types of events. So like right here, I can just type in the name of a park. So if I want to see, all the events that are happening in Jefferson Park for the next couple of weeks, I can do that. I can type in the park and then say the from and to date. And then I didn't point this out in particular, but you can check off day or evening events if that's, particular to what you're looking for. Then it gives you the option to check off different sort of interest areas or types of events. So let's say you're interested in birding, you can check that off and see all the birding events or films. So like when they do outdoor movies, you would see all of those that are tagged with film. And then down here, there's locations where you can say all Manhattan neighborhoods, or you could go in and say East Harlem, which could be really helpful to just narrow stuff down. And then you can check by seeing if events are in accessible locations. Many of them are. By which events are free. Again, many of those are too. There are some that are tagged as must-see events, which are just ones that the parks are specifically highlighting. They might be larger things like concerts. And then you can also go in here and exclude members-only programming. And generally what that means is some of the fitness centers at the different parks will advertise their ongoing programming that's open to fitness center members. If you don't want to see that, if you're not a fitness center member or you're not interested in seeing that, you can check that and it'll just not show you those. So that's just a way to make it more specific to your personal interest. And if you're on your phone, I tried to take screenshots of this that sort of show you where everything is. But if you're on your phone and all you're seeing in the middle of the screen is just that calendar, you're not seeing this search events list, just scroll to the left, it'll be on the right side of your screen. So if you don't see that, you just need to sort of move your screen over a little bit and you should see it just at the sidebar on your phone. So just to show you an example of how you might filter this. So in this example, I put Central Park in and I put the dates from 4/17 to 4/22. And then I went in and I checked all categories, but then when I got to the bottom, I checked must-see events, so to see the ones that were highlighted, and those that don't require a membership. So I didn't want to see the things that were just, every Wednesday there's something at the fitness center. And so this is what I came up with. So like a Central Park highlights hike. So you'll see this is free. You can go and look at it and go on a tour with a Central Park Urban Ranger to show you the highlights of the park. It's a good, fitness experience. It's a good learning experience. It's under Urban Park Rangers and hiking here. You can fit this to whatever your particular interest or area that you want to be in is. And as summer approaches, there's going to be a lot more listings in here as you gear up for like free concerts and stuff like that too. Keep checking back. Another way to use this site, there's actually a number of tabs here you can check out, but I just wanted to highlight these few. If you check on this one that says programs, you can actually look at real specific programs for specific interests or populations. So they have the swim programs, senior programs and resources, youth sports if you have a child in your life that you are trying to find a sports program for. Shape Up NYC is a network of programs that are generally free and don't require fitness memberships that are designed to keep you healthy and do relatively low impact workouts. So that's worth checking out too. Also, they have adaptive programs for people with disabilities, and you can look at everything that is offered there as well. And also, as with a lot of city pages, this page is available to translate with Google Translate. So if you speak a language other than English, and it would be more helpful for you to be able to read this in that language, what you're going to do is just go up to this translate tab. It's one of these gray tabs above the green one. Hit translate, and then it'll give you a little drop down menu where you can select from like tons and tons of languages what you want it to translate to. I just put it in simplified Chinese just to give you an idea of what that looks like. So that's open to you as well to make it that much more accessible. And like I said, be sure to come back and check this on a regular basis because events are added every day and it should be really well populated as the summer comes up. So it's a good way to find free and local and fun events near you. So again, it's nycgovparks.org/events. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the NYC Ferry app. It's not the same network as like the Staten Island Ferry. The Staten Island Ferry is kind of its own thing. Actually, there's a couple of different ferry networks that are across the city, but this one is specifically called NYC Ferry. This is a really cool thing. And I have pictures at the end of this that are Les and I going on a trip on the ferry because we did, and it was really fun. And it's super accessible too. So I just want to show you how to get ferry tickets ahead of time, which I think can be actually a little bit easier than trying to buy them on site. So NYC has a vibrant ferry system where you can explore the city on the water, which is very cool. And I can tell you firsthand that it looks very different from the water, and it's just a great perspective to have. So we are super lucky in East Harlem to be pretty close to a ferry stop, which is at 90th Street. It's all the way over to the east side. You've probably seen it before if you've walked down on the Esplanade. That's our stop, the closest one to us. And you'll see from this map that it is connected to two particular lines directly. So one that goes up to Ferry Point Park in Throgs Neck, and one that goes south to Wall Street. And then we have another one that Susan just recently took that sort of zigzags across Queens and Brooklyn, and then eventually also comes down to Wall Street as well. Both of those are accessible by that particular stop. Okay, and just sort of the details about this. An adult one-way pass is $4. A 10-trip pass is $27.50. And if you're with children who are under 44 inches tall, they get to ride for free with an adult. There are free transfers on these. So if you end up at a ferry stop that then connects to another ferry line, you can hop on that one. You can do it for a little while. You take your bike on board for no fee, and you can buy tickets beforehand with the app, which I'll show you, that are good for 90 days after you've bought them. Also, seniors, people with disabilities, and fares NYC participants can apply for a $1.35 one-way fare by going to ferry.nyc/discount. Just a heads up that it can take them a little bit, I think it's up to 30 days to process that request. So if you're planning on doing that this summer, you might want to go ahead and put that request in just ahead of time. So ferry.nyc/discount. And I think it's a relatively simple process. You just show the documentation that you would have to qualify for any of these other programs. Okay, so let's look at the app. You can buy tickets at the machine at each ferry stop. They can be a little tricky sometimes. Sometimes they're not working quite right. So I suggest doing it on the app. So I'll walk you through how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is go to your Play Store or App Store, depending on whether you have an Android or an iPhone, and just search for NYC Ferry. And you should see this one that looks like a ferry and it says NYC Ferry by Hornblower. And you're going to hit install to get that up and running. And then once you've done that, it's going to ask you to make a login. If you've ever used it before, it'll have a way for you to log in with Gmail. You can just click on Gmail if you have a Gmail account, and they'll probably, I think it asks you to enter your password, and that's all it is. That'll just send you through with that. You can also use Facebook. You can use multiple different ways to sign in, but it's a relatively straightforward thing. You just enter your password for whichever one of these things it is, and it's synced up. So click on that. I signed in with Google, and it just used my email address. Okay, and once you've logged in, it's going to ask you to enable location services. So all that is so the app can locate ferry stops that are near you and give you directions to them. You don't have to turn this on if you don't want to. You can always just hit skip, which is right here in the top right-hand corner. For my purposes, I was okay having location services enabled, so I did that. And then I just said, well, using the app. All right, and once you've done either of those things, either skipped that or enabled location services, you should see a screen that looks something like this. And what you'll see here is there's a little icon that shows you the map, which will show you that map that I had on that first screen of the whole ferry system, right? So you can see all the possible places you can go. So if you want to look at that map, you're going to click this icon right here. You can look at ferry schedules by clicking here. They run relatively frequently. I was actually surprised by how frequent they are, but you can check out specific times here. And once you're ready, you can hit buy ticket. And tickets are like Metro cards. So like it doesn't matter where you're going. They're all going to be $4 or $135 if you have the discounted fare. Okay, so you checked out the map, the schedules. We're ready to buy tickets. We're going to hit buy ticket. And it'll give us the option to do that 10 ride pass or a one-way pass. So just add whatever it is you want to, keeping in mind that you need to use these within 90 days. They also have a tab on here for the Rockaway Rocket, which I could not get more information about, and I couldn't see how to schedule it yet. So it might just be a new thing, but it seems that there's a specific ferry that goes to Rockaway, which is kind of cool. And I will give you more information on that as I have it. Okay, so once you have the tickets you want to buy, put checkout there, and then you're going to select how you want to pay. It's just credit card information, or if you have Google Pay set up on your phone, you can just use that if that's already set up. Otherwise, it's just going to ask you to enter your credit card information, just like with any other online purchase, and you're going to hit purchase. And once you've done that, you will have in your general ferry My Tickets area, you will have this one-way pass or however many passes you had. And you'll see that it's sitting there and it has a pass expiration on it. So you are good to go at this point. You have your tickets. But one thing I want to really point out to you is there's this thing where you activate your ticket. Don't do that until you are about to get on the ferry and you have to show it to the dock hand there. Because once you activate your ticket, it's only good for 120 minutes. They want to make sure that you can transfer different places, but it's you have the tickets already. You just need to activate them right as you're getting on the ferry. Okay, so you'll just open it up and hit on that activate ticket. And that'll give you a QR code that the deckhand will scan. Don't activate your tickets until you are right in front of the boat and ready to go. So if you go in, like, let's say you're going to the ferry, you haven't activated your tickets yet, but here you are, you're at the dock. You want to say use ticket. That'll be like on the, if you've bought tickets already, that will be on the front screen when you open the app, and you'll just click on use ticket, and then it will give you the option to go ahead and activate them. So if you have 2 people going and you have 10 tickets in there, just say activate 2 tickets, and then you'll have the QR code. And the ferries are really cool. They're very comfortable. They're very accessible. They have contactless snack bars where you can like order snacks on your thing and then just go get them. The ride is really nice. Generally, I think the rides from one end to the other are generally between like an hour and an hour and a half, something like that. You can also transfer, and which would make it longer, and you can go wherever you want to. I have some pictures from less in my trip, which was actually in October, so it doesn't look very summery, but it was really, really cool, and we need to do it again sometime. So we took the ferry from that 90th Street stop to Skytown, and it was gorgeous, and just a really, really fun thing to do that was not super expensive and just great. It feels very different, looks very different from the water. And I actually also have a video from looking out. You can be inside the whole time on the ferry, but you can also be on the deck and sort of looking around from outside. This is my video from the end of the back side of the ferry. So this is just coming up. I think that was approaching like 59th Street. It was pretty close to 90th Street. So I highly recommend it. I'm sure it's even more gorgeous in the summer. It's way cooler than taking a train. I mean, I think, like if you hate taking the train to go downtown, this is an awesome way to do it. And here's some flowers for you. And next week, we'll talk about some more summer tips.